over, but it's not. We're still getting retailers and a couple tech names that should be high on your list, as these are work from home type of stocks that have been soaring. But what are they? I've looked at the list and culled it down to the five top names you should be watching this week. These are the five hottest as we do wind down the earnings season here. But what are they? Let's dive right in. The first hot stock you should be watching is Salesforce. Yeah, they haven't reported yet. They're all in the news right now about that possible Slack acquisition. But as you can see, they've got a great earnings surprise track record. They've either met or beat all those quarters since our data began there in 2017. Shares have stalled out a bit here, but that's true of many of the tech stocks, as some of the money is now rotating into other names. But can another great quarter, propel these higher again, plus possibly a Slack acquisition? We'll see. But this is one everybody's going to be watching this week. Then we're going to switch it over to one of the retailers that doesn't get a lot of press, but maybe you should be watching, and specifically because of its ticker. Look at that ticker, HOME. There hasn't been a hotter area at all this year as the home. And at Home Group, they call themselves the home decor superstore. So they have really big stores that sell all the things we've been buying, the rugs, the mirrors, the chairs, everything for the home. They have 200 stores in 40 states, and this is actually a cheap stock this week. You don't see that very often these days. It's only trading with a forward PE of 9 times, but it was basically left for dead there right before the pandemic. I think it was trading at like 3 times earnings or something in early 2020. Nobody wanted to touch it because it didn't have a big online presence, and just the big box retailers were struggling a bit. But as you can see, the shares are up big so far year to date, and it has a pretty good earnings surprise track record. Did have that big miss there when the stores were all shut down, but we've had reopenings, and now this is going into the holiday season, so we should get some idea of what they're seeing in the stores, and what kind of traffic and sales are going on at this type of store. So this is one to keep an eye on if you're interested in what's going on at these home retailers, but they've all been reporting real solid sales. And this one will be one to watch because its online presence isn't quite as big as some of the others, but still definitely a hot one for this week. Then we're going to switch over to CrowdStrike. They have a great chart as well. They haven't missed since their IPO there in 2019. This is a fan favorite, or a Robinhood favorite, as I like to say. Look at all those big beats. The last 4 quarters have been really enormous earnings beats. That's the long green arrow there. Shares are still busting out, but they're not cheap, trading at 96 times earnings now. But that's never stopped anyone here in 2020, right? What's the PE ratio all about anyways? But this is one that, has already got the momentum going into this, so we'll see if it can continue with this breakout. Then another hot stock for 2020 has been DocuSign. And as you can see, it's only had that one miss since their IPO in 2018. And it did have the big beat last quarter, but the shares are kind of treading some water here, as a lot of the good news about their business increasing during the pandemic has basically been priced in. And what happens to a company like this when we do have the vaccine and everything in the economy is reopening? Nobody knows. It's not cheap. It's trading at 412 times its earnings, and it's already had this big run. That's why you got to see where the stock is just kind of holding there, waiting for some kind of catalyst, or possibly to break down after this, depending on what happens over the next couple of quarters. So this is definitely one of those pandemic type plays everybody's going to be watching. And then we're going to wrap it up with one of the retailers that a lot of people will be watching, which is Ulta Beauty, ticker Ulta. I own this one in my own personal portfolio and owned it for several years, and it's been a kind of a wild ride here, as you can see. They have a pretty good track record of beating But that miss a couple quarters ago, that was during the pandemic when the stores had to be shut. They have invested in online sales heavily, even before the pandemic. They have the distribution facilities open. They compete well on timely delivery within just a couple of days. So that's not the problem. But one of the problems in the beauty industry right now has been makeup. And this was happening going into 2020. It was a real slowdown in the makeup side of the business because there really wasn't a big product that was driving that area. Skincare and hair care both were still trending pretty strongly, but the makeup side was slow. And then you had the pandemic hit where everybody was staying at home, so they certainly weren't wearing the makeup. And even now, when you're wearing the mask, you might not be wearing as much makeup and certainly not things like lipstick or lip glosses. So this is going to be an interesting one when they report. What are they seeing? The shares are getting a nice little boost here, but will that hold? They're not cheap either, trading at 84 times. So they're going to need to show something is going on either on skincare or hair care or other areas of their business that's doing well here to justify this price. So we will see, but a lot of eyes will be on Ulta this week. So as you can see, it's kind of a mix of companies that are the hot ones to watch this week. And a lot of them are in the retail side. All of retail is not bad right now, as we've already heard from many of the retailers. So some of the sparkling retailers are still to come both this week and in December. So be sure to tune in on all the retail stocks because this is a big play into what's going to be happening in that area into 2021. And we will still be getting a lot more of these work from home stocks yet to report. So you don't want to miss a single earnings all stars. I'm going to bring another one to you for December, which I normally don't do, but I feel like those stocks are getting the shaft since I don't normally do one then, but we'll have another one of what hot stocks should you be watching in December. So subscribe to get all the earnings all stars, especially as we get into the next earnings season, which is again just around the corner in January. So get all of them at zacks.com/YouTube. That's zacks.com/YouTube to get our YouTube channel, and you'll get the top stock picks of the week and all of our other great videos and content there as well. But I'll see you again next time with some more earnings charts.